Okay, hello ladies and gentlemen. I am obviously not here today, but I decided I was not going to let you guys play ukulele because I wasn't there, but I believe that this may work. And I'm giving your substitute the ability to, when she needs to, or he or she needs to, I'm not sure who it is today, hope they are acting right for you. Substitute whoever you are. What I'm going to do is we're going to do some review before we touch the ukuleles. Right now, everybody's ukulele should be sitting flat on the floor with nobody fighting over how close they are to the ukulele. This is a time for us to review. The first thing that we do in class is I want everybody to raise their left hand. How you know it's the left hand? It's the one closest to the window. So everybody raise your left hand and do this. Substitute, if you see somebody not doing the right hand, make sure it's their other left hand, okay? So, what we're going to do, notice that my ukulele neck, this long part here, is also facing the ukulele. Facing the left side of the room. So, right here, if I'm holding the ukulele correctly, you can see that the strings are all stacked up on one another, and we have 4 strings. So, we have to number these strings so that we know which string it is, and I want to see what we remember from last week. Where should we start numbering? The bottom or the top? I'm pausing right now to let everybody, if you believe that we start on the top, I want you to take your finger and point at the ceiling. If you believe it's on the bottom, I want everybody to take your thumb and do a thumbs down. Okay. Those of you that are doing thumbs down, you are correct. We start at the bottom string, so this would be 1. So 2 would be here. 3 would be here. 4 would be here. So, which one would this be? Right? Which one would this be? If you said third, you're right. Fourth, first, second, third, fourth. Very good. So that is a quick review of the strings. Now, if you can take a look at this big white thing here, this is what we call the nut. And in between the nut and this first little metal box right here, this makes one gigantic box. They're called frets, okay? The frets, basically, when you hold down a string on the fret and you move up to the next box, this would be first fret because this is the first box. Here would be the second fret. As you move up, you notice the pitches get higher. So this would be first fret, second fret, third fret, fourth fret, so on and so forth. So, what we are trying to do are to play chords, and we're only going to use our first finger. We've learned in the past how to number your fingers. We don't number our thumb in ukulele. This would be 1, this would be 2, 3, 4. Okay? We're only going to be using our first finger for most of this class today. Maybe all the class, depending how far we can get. But we are learning to play chords where we are playing all the strings, but holding down some of the strings. And notice that my fingers don't make the noise from up here. That's where my right hand comes in. So I'm holding my ukulele, and I'm going, that's where the noise comes in. You shouldn't be touching your ukulele now. And I'm sure that there's some people thinking that they can. So make sure that your ukulele's not up yet. We are going to get them out, and you're going to play a lot, but I want you to listen for the little bit. So, our first chord that we're going to make today is C, and we did this last time. Some of you may remember how to do it, but I'm going to go back over it again. So C is first, we're only using first finger, so you are going to start on the first string, and you're going to, because the first string's on the bottom, you're going to count up 3 frets. 1, 2, 3. Notice that I have my finger hooked to where when I'm holding the ukulele, I'm using the very, very tip of my finger, and you can see the indentation where it's at right there. Hold on, let me do it again. See where that's at? Right on the tip. So when I use this, I'm hooking my finger, and that is your C chord. Okay? What I want you to do, you should be sitting with your partner and the one closest to the window, which is the left side. That is going to be your first person. They are the one that is going to pick up the ukulele first, and they are going to hold it the correct way with the ukulele neck pointing this way. And then they are going to sit down and they are going to put their first finger on the bottom string, which is the first string, and you're going to count up 3 boxes. 1, 2, 3. Hooking the finger, and then you're going to play that note. And some of the ukuleles may be out of tune. We do not touch these. If they are out of tune today, they are just out of tune. But you can still practice holding down the strings. It may not sound as good to you, but the important thing is that you're not getting this sound. If you're getting this sound, you're not pushing hard enough. You need to push down. So now, I want, here in just a second, I would like for the substitute to pause the video. My finger will stay here, hopefully, if it'll pause. And we're going to give a few minutes for number 1 of the group. There should only be 2 in a group. 1 in the group. And then after they go through and they demonstrate how to do it correctly, and the substitute will do the best they can to check you to make sure that you're doing it correctly, and you can strum and play for a few minutes, and then you are going to pass it to your neighbor, and you are going to help them and make sure that they're holding it right. And remember, when we are strumming, we are not strumming hard. We don't want a hard strum. We just want it nice and light. I'm just barely brushing the back of my hand or my thumb, but I'm not really barely. When you start hearing those popping noises, you're hitting too hard. So please don't hit my ukuleles very hard or you'll break strings. Okay, so right here, that's what it should sound like if it's in tune. I'm going to tune the ukuleles before I leave, but they most certainly will not all be in tune. So if they're not in tune, do not touch these. That's just the way it's going to be today. So if the substitute now, with my finger like this on the correct string and fret, we'll pause right here. Here in just a couple of minutes. Okay, now that everybody's gotten to go, the first group is gone, the second group is gone, and everybody has demonstrated how to do this chord. Which chord is this? C. Okay? Make sure that you start remembering that this is the C chord. Now, when we go to our next chord, it's going to be F, and we're still only going to use this first finger. But we are going to go to second string, first fret. So I start at the bottom. Here's my first string. Second string is right across, and then I'm in the first box. Now this is where it's really important to hook your finger. So as your finger's hooked up here, you need to make sure that your finger is hooked. If your finger is not hooked, what you're going to have happen is it's going to lay over on this string. You've got to make sure that your finger stays hooked up to where this note plays, and then this note can also play, and this note. So you should be able to hear all 4 notes. So when you can do that, here in just a minute, I'm going to have the substitute pause the video again. We're going to go through the same process, only with the F chord. And you can have this to look at, because you should still, if it's paused, you should still be able to see this. But here's how I want you to check yourself. I want you to make sure that this note plays, then I want you to make sure that this note plays. And then listen to it all together. Don't just sit down and start strumming, because sometimes you won't hear that. And your partner's going to help check you. So make sure that you stay, see where that indentation is? That's where the strings got to go. And I've got a nice hook back here. All right? So that's what we're going for. Substitute, please pause the video and give each group, 1 and 2, a few minutes to go through this. Very good. Okay, now that you're back and we've paused this, we have 2 chords that we're doing. We've got the C chord, which is first string, 3rd fret, and we have the F chord, which is 2nd string, 1st fret. Both of these chords right here now, to do our first song, you have to be able to switch. So what you want to do now is you want to practice going back and forth between the two of them, like starting at C, going back and forth. Remember that you have to go up 2 frets and you also have to change strings. So for instance, when you go from F, which is where we're going to start, when you start at F, you're going to go here, and then you have to go up 2 frets and down 1 string to get to C. But most of the song that we're going to do is in F. But there's one part at the end, and if you guys remember, row, row, row your boat, it's life is but a dream, okay? So you've got to practice that part right there. So now, when the teacher pauses, I want each group to, for a couple minutes or a few minutes each, practice just going back and forth with your partner helping you and making sure that you're remembering to go up 2 frets and down 1 string, and then go up 1 fret and up 1 string. So here's F, here's C. It's kind of like they're doing a little crisscross right here. They're going up 2 frets to the string below, down 2 frets to the string above. However you want to do it. So we're going to pause, and I haven't been saying this, but it's going to really help if the substitute tells you before she unpauses the video for everybody to put their ukuleles in rest position. Okay, that means lay it carefully on the floor with no like slamming down or anything like that. Put it carefully on the floor, and it doesn't matter if it's close to you or not. So don't fight over who's got the ukulele closest to them. But you're going to put the ukulele in the floor so that you can pay attention to what I'm saying. At any time during this that we're having trouble, we can always rewind it a few minutes and